Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another New World video. So today I want to share a build that I'm actually going to be running in large scale PvP, whether that be world PvP or wars, and kind of discuss how you compare these two weapons together if that's something that you're interested in. With that said, if you're a meta slave, there's a great little combo called Alt F4. Go ahead and hit that now because this video is probably not for you. Wars and large-scale PvP aren't won on min-maxing a player's DPS and, individual player skills. Strategy and execution of that strategy are way more important. Now, I will extend an olive branch and agree, yes, there will be that one guy who runs into, a group of players and looks like he descended from the mountains of Olympus, but that's not you, so shut the up. So before we jump into the build, let's talk a little bit about the playstyle for this setup. Your role running this setup is basically working as a sniper. You're going to be in your team's backline doing tons of damage and putting up debuffs. Now note that I said sniper, which means that you'll actually have to be able to aim and hit your shots if you want to be able to do damage. So with this setup, you're kind of relying on your teammates to collapse in on a target if you're getting pushed in your backline, but you should still be able to hit your shots to be able to contribute to that kill. You shouldn't just rely on them 24/7. But this is where you're primarily going to be using your bow. I want you to think of your bow as your close range weapon and just ability dumping, and then your musket as your mid to long range weapon. So now that we've covered that, let's look at your bow first. What setup are you going to be running? By the way, I'm over at worldforge.gg. Go ahead and check them out. Huge shout out to them. They got a great website. So in my opinion, I still want a little bit of defense just in case. So I'm going to go with evade shot and the two traits below that. But if you wanted a little bit more damage, you could swap that out for penetrating shot. But we're going to go ahead and grab evade shot and the two traits below that, evasive knockback and go the distance. We're going to grab poison shot, infected arrows. We're going to skip picking up direct hit because this actually doesn't increase your poison tick damage, only the direct hit damage. And just because we're going to be using this for large scale PvP, we're just going to be firing this into the crowd. So it's more about just getting the debuff of the poison shot up on as many targets as we can, rather than focusing in on just trying to kill one person with a lot of damage in a single target situation. We're going to jump over and pick up rain of arrows and the two traits below that, barbed arrows and hooked arrows. We're going to grab evasive tactics for the passive, closing in, dodge and weave, and then battle precision. Next in the hunter tree, we're going to grab long range, aim true, finishing shot, opening strike, arrow range, bullseye, and surprise attack. Sorry if I'm kind of just blasting through this. I don't really feel like making a super long video reading out every single ability. So if you want, rewind the video a little bit. As I was going through the abilities, feel free to pause it and read them. So this is going to be your bow build. As I mentioned, ability dumping before, this is what we're talking about, all right? If you see a large group of people, you're going to be shooting rain of arrows, getting up your bleed and is slow on them. You're then going to be shooting your poison shot into them. If someone gets close range, you got evade shot to help create some distance, but you still need to be hitting your shot. So the passive talents that we ended up picking up are going to help support that gameplay. Next, we're going to be going for the primary weapon that you're really going to be using, which is the musket. Now for strictly doing damage, I really like power shot, but I will acknowledge that stopping power actually has really good utility if you wanted to swap that out. But we're going to go with power shot. We're going to pick up the talents below that, initial engagement, first blood, and bullseye. We're going to grab powder burn, we're going to grab backdraft, and chronic trauma. Now I really like shooter stance as well. I feel like you can get off a ton of damage with this ability. So we're going to grab that, shoot more, get 2 extra bullets, and then marksman. For passives, we're going to go empowering headshot, ballistic advantage, called shot resupply, hit your mark, and lastly, the thing that's going to be insane for actually helping us hit shots and just to pile on the damage, sniper. Over in the trapper tree, we're going to pick up salt on the wounds. We're going to grab weaken defense, hustle, and something that I think is absolutely crucial for this build, tactical reload. And there you go. This is going to be the setup for the musket. This is specifically, again, for large scale PvP. You have a role defined, whether you're attacking in war and you're the one looking at all the people on the cannons that are up on the wall, you're aiming for their healers that are standing in the back, or you're on defense and you're up on the wall just, picking people off, aiming specifically for their healers, some of the weak, low health targets that are on the flag. You're going to be swapping to that bow specifically for, grouped up targets. Get up those debuffs, those bleeds, those poisons. If someone pushes you, you're going to be swapping to that bow. I find it way easier to hit shots close range using a bow rather than a musket, not to mention the reload time. But ideally, you know, you're positioning yourself so you actually don't have to take those close fights. You really get to play to the strength of the musket. Now, I talked to a lot of people that played the closed beta, and during my time of playing the open beta, I had a lot of people tell me that this combo of the musket bow, there was no place for it, it wouldn't work. And I can tell you right now that I had an absolute blast playing this setup inside a large scale PvP, so they were wrong. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to test it for small scale PvP, whether that be, you know, small group PvP or those 1v1 situations. When the full game comes out, I'm definitely going to be trying this setup out. I think if I change around the talents and definitely play heavy into the trapper tree, I think there might be a way, as long as you're very accurate with your shots, that you could possibly run this for small scale PvP as well. But that'll have to be a later video down the road. You know, with that said, I've kind of been thinking about, I mentioned that I wanted to change my outro, and that makes me think of something kind of along the lines of, you know, don't be a meta slave, go out and break the meta. Maybe try new things. You know, we're going to be able to have so much variety in the different builds in New World, just given, you know, just from all the different talents that you can have set up in weapons to, you know, where you want to distribute your attributes, whether you want to be heavy in constitution and light in dexterity. I don't know why you would do that, but, you know, not to mention the armor that you can equip, you know, whether you're going light, medium, heavy, that affects your mobility. I'm a strong believer in playing what you want to play that's fun to you and what fits your playstyle rather than just going along with the meta. Also, if you're looking for a company, I'm actually going to be starting one. We're going to be playing on NA East servers. We're going to be going Marauders. So if you're interested, I'll have all the info pinned at the top of the comments. So go check that out. Just remember, the meta. I'll catch you in the next one.